This effigy is truly an outstanding example of Clovis creativity and craftsmanship. This is a beautiful Andara volcanic glass Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigy from Mount Shasta, California. It was dug by Lady Nelly Thompson in the late 60s, early 70s on her property at Mount Shasta. And this Andara volcanic glass from Mount Shasta is truly extraordinary. And the craftsmanship and the flaking and etching on these pieces, the engraving on these examples are just magnificent. The Clovis people lived between 12 and 14,000 years ago across America. And they made Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies. Each effigy has two human faces, one young and one old, and also images two mammoths, one young and one old. I first discovered these. They had been unobserved before my discovery in October of 2020 in the Mojave Desert in California. Of course, it wasn't made out of volcanic glass. The first one that I discovered was made out of chert. And it is pictured on my YouTube site. There's a video of the first Paleo story stone ever discovered. Before that time, these were unknown. No one had observed these before my discovery in October of 2020. And furthermore, this Andara volcanic glass had been thought to be, by many people, nothing more than man-made slag glass. But after my discovery, when I saw these for the first time and I saw that they were paleo flaked and that they were obvious effigies, I knew they were Paleolithic, because these effigies were only made during the Paleolithic period. After the mammoth had become extinct, they were no longer made, so you don't find these in the early Archaic. There was a worldwide mammoth tradition or mammoth worship that went all the way back to Homo habilis. In the old world, we have Neanderthals making these, Homo heidelbergensis making these, Homo erectus making these, Homo ergaster making these, all the way back to Homo habilis some 2 million years ago. And before my discovery of these Paleo story stone effigies, etching and engraving on flake stone had not been observed. But these effigies have a lot of etching and engraving to image the hair of the faces and the hair of the mammoths. This Andara volcanic glass has been X-ray fluorescence tested, XRF tested in the geology lab of the University of Stephen Austin, Texas. I gave them 3 samples to test. All of them were Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies. And all of them, and one was blue, one was green, and one was golden, like this piece. And they all tested to be naturally occurring volcanic glass and not man-made slag glass as previously thought. Man-made glass is rich in silicon dioxide. It also has a lot of sodium from soda being added to silicone to reduce the melting point of silicon to make it commercially feasible. That's been going on since ancient times. This glass has absolutely no sodium in it at all and no oxygen. So the X-ray fluorescence testing provided us with the atomic structure of this glass. What it is made out of is very interesting, and what it's not made out of is extremely interesting. And in the more section down below this video, there'll be a short article and a link to the spreadsheet, the scientific spreadsheet that the University of Stephen Austin, Texas provided me after they tested the 3 samples in their geology lab. And all of the atoms that are present in the glass will be shown in that spreadsheet. And it confirmed once and for all that this is naturally occurring volcanic glass. This volcanic glass is currently being mined in Indonesia out of alluvial plain. They're not mined out of a quarry. They're mined where the Paleo-Indians left them in an offering field, as these were offerings, no doubt, to the mammoth god. They also have been found in a dry creek bed volcanic creek bed in Arizona. The rough material is currently being mined in ancient lava flows in China. But the most beautiful of the volcanic glass comes from Mount Shasta, California. It's always found in association with volcanoes. And unlike obsidian and tektites, which are meteoric glass, again, this glass has no oxygen in it, no oxygen atoms at all. And both obsidian and tektites are loaded with oxygen. There's 50 to 70% silicon dioxide. So they have a lot of oxygen in them. And this glass has no oxygen atoms in it, no hydrogen atoms in it, no sodium atoms in it. So it's a beautiful volcanic glass that when I made the discovery of the Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies, I also discovered that our Paleo-Indian ancestors were using this glass, this volcanic glass, to make these wonderful effigies. No one had known before that this volcanic glass was used in the manufacture of Paleo artifacts. And again, these are not found in the early Archaic, just in the Paleo period. The etching is only found in the Paleo period as well, because the etching, of course, images the hair of the mammoth and the hair atop the faces. And that had not been observed prior to my discovery of Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies. What we have here is a beautiful mammoth now, a mature mammoth facing left. This is the eye that's all been grooved out. And as customary, they etch the hair flaring out from the eye of the mammoth. Just outstanding workmanship. This has all been flaked. This entire piece has been flaked except right here. This is the original crystal face of the stone, or what we would call cortex. All the rest of this stone on both sides has been flaked and mostly etched in Paleo times. There's no modern workmanship or no modern damage on this. And this is a Clovis Biface. It's got wonderful Clovis flaking and beautiful edge work that the Clovis people would have performed on their stone. In fact, I have a YouTube video that has a periwinkle blue Clovis Biface alongside, from Mount Shasta, alongside an obsidian Clovis Biface that I found in Bishop, California. And you'll see that they're practically identical. In fact, the edge work is identical. Very finely done to form the outline, the perimeter of the artifacts. And then when we hold it this way now, oh my goodness, we have a little baby mammoth with its trunk off to the right here. And we have its eye again grooved right here. And then we have a massive hair tuft above the head, and look at the beautiful engraving. The beautiful Clovis engraving on that hair tuft above the head. Now, I do have another video posted that I call one of the finest mammoth effigies ever discovered, made out of periwinkle blue volcanic glass from Mount Shasta. And it's posted on my YouTube site, and I would have you refer to that because the tail of that mammoth is beautifully engraved as well. And then when you turn the stone vertically, that tail becomes the hair atop the faces, atop the head of the face. Just outstanding. And this is another outstanding piece. That's the hair tuft, and then you see the hair etched all the way down the back of the mammoth. And look at this engraving line that they did. Right there, all along there, that engraving line, that's all Clovis workmanship. And then we turn it over this way. Now we see another mammoth. This is the eye of the mammoth. It's been flaked out right here. There's a big flake right there. You can see it now right there. That's the eye of the mature mammoth now facing off to the right. And there's even a face of an old face with this, the eye, the flattened nose, and the mouth down below, looking up from the back of the mammoth with his pretty standard iconographics. It is standard iconographics when it comes to Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies. Faces are often looking up from the back of the mammoth, most often than not. Some are looking from down underneath the mammoth. Some are looking up out forward from the front of the mammoth. But looking up from the back of the mammoth is standard iconographics with Paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies. And then when we turn it this way, Now we have that same eye right there, which is the eye we've been looking at, and the baby mammoth trunk off to the left with a massive hair tuft up above. And they left that blue inclusion, that blue glass inclusion on there on purpose. And we'll see what that's about in just a little bit. And then again, we have the human face with this, the eye, the same eye that we were using for the mammoth, and the big sweepy nose. And then they actually flaked out the mouth down below just beautifully. And then that's the old face facing right. And then the young face, this is the nose of the young face, the mouth and the eye. And it looks like a Disney cartoon character of the young face facing left with the mouth down here below flaked out. Just outstanding. And we turn it this way. Now we have that eye right there and the nose, the pointed nose of the young face. And we see the mouth from the other side of the stone imaged on this side of the stone for the open mouth, the eye, the pointed nose of the young face facing off to the right with all the hair etched on top of his head. And then we have the older face with this, the eye, big sweepy nose, and again, the open mouth down below, looking off to the left. Just outstanding creativity and workmanship on this Paleo, this Clovis Biface, Andara volcanic-glass biface from Mount Shasta, California. Now, they left this blue inclusion on here for a reason. And you'll see a strike from the edge all the way to the hinge fracture right here. That's a big Clovis percussion strike. Then they struck this piece, another flake off here, to bring it down to that blue inclusion. So they could image those blue inclusions as eyes of another face. That's an eye, that's an eye. They actually pecked the nose and they flaked open the mouth down here. So that was all done intentionally. That's a cool face, an eye, a little nose peck there, and then they actually chipped out the mouth of a face looking from the side of the mammoth, looking right at us. Just outstanding creativity, outstanding workmanship on this beautiful Clovis Biface, Paleo Story Stone face and mammoth effigy from Mount Shasta, California.